But it's supposed to be a fireside chat, so let's turn our seats around a bit.
Yeah, sure.
So I can kind of look you in the eyes and chat to you. So to start with, tell us, what exactly, for those who don't know, what are you doing and what is natural hydrogen?
Yes, I have a short video to show. Could you please start the video there, and just after that I will comment.
Sure.
And thank you for all of those who survived this evacuation. Yes, so you've seen in examples there are several countries which were shown, and so natural hydrogen is the hydrogen which is present in nature in its molecular state in form of H2. And what is more important to know that this hydrogen is not coming from fossil resources. It's coming from much deeper layers in the earth. It's been produced by geochemical inorganic reactions down there, and this therefore this hydrogen is carbon-free.
And why has it taken us so long to be able to exploit it in the way that you're doing?
Yeah, actually, the discoveries of natural hydrogen were known for many decades, but it was always considered something anecdotal. Like something rare and not important, but in the same time no one was looking specifically for hydrogen because it was considered that it cannot exist in nature in large quantities. And more discoveries were coming, like these anecdotal discoveries, and with time researchers started to realize, yeah, we're dealing with something really big. And once scientific community started to look more closely into it, we understood that we're dealing with something really big, and the reserves of natural hydrogen are, the estimates of reserves are increasing by 1 order of magnitude every 10 years.
Wow.
So it's really high, and we're in the very beginning only. We're only in the beginning of exploration. It will continue to increase, and some studies demonstrate now that it has the potential to replace all fossil fuels. So abundant it is. And when we talk about reserves, it's a classic word to use it, but it's better call it like potential, because we're not dealing with something stored underground and for millions of years. We're dealing with a flow of energy of this hydrogen, and therefore it can be considered as a renewable resource, because it's been generated constantly in the Earth's crust, and it flows to the surface, and then it's lost if we don't use it. And it can be compared to geothermal energy to some extent.
And does every country or every region of the world have the same or similar capacity to exploit this?
It's a very good surprise that the regions where we can find natural hydrogen, they don't overlap with regions where we find other hydrocarbons, for instance. So studies shown that there are...
They don't overlap.
They don't overlap. So they are present on all continents, hydrogen-rich locations, and they don't overlap with existing locations, and with existing, hydrocarbon locations. And first estimates show that only if we explore those known places in North America alone, it will be already enough to cover all global consumption of hydrogen on the planet. But it's present on all continents, so the real potential is much higher.
I just want to follow up on that question about the overlap, because I'm thinking in terms of all those companies that are now renaming themselves energy companies that were, oil companies. If they've got the ability to dig for things, surely one thing they could be doing now is to be working in this area. And if there's no overlap, then it makes things more difficult, doesn't it?
They are starting to work very actively. I work on this topic for 9 years already, and only last year and this year I see it's booming interest, because it's time for this technology arrived, and we're talking about it right now. And also, it's important that we're talking about energy transition, that we need to go faster, and in order to go faster, we need either to create new technologies or to use existing ones. Yeah, we're creating new technologies like solar, wind power, other technologies, but it takes time. And the main problem of energy industry is scale. It's so gigantic that it takes decades to do even small changes. Look, we're working for renewables for several decades already. When I say we, I mean the humanity, right? And we're still about 10% maybe of global energy consumption. It will take many decades to reach the no emission energy. But if we use the natural hydrogen example, it is possible to use existing infrastructure to access this energy. And in such case, the development may be much, much faster.
You talk broadly about the sector and where it can be exploited and so forth, but let's talk a little bit more about what you're doing. What differentiates your company and its activities in this hydrogen sector from others? What's transformative about what you're doing?
We are the first to drill an exploratory well specifically for hydrogen in Americas, more specifically in the United States. And we demonstrated by our drilling that there is a reserve of natural hydrogen, and now we're working to put this into production, to make a demonstrational project to show everyone, look, it's possible to do this. And so far there were many discoveries of hydrogen, but all of them were accidental. So we're the first who are doing this on purpose, really searching for hydrogen.
And have you looked maybe in Africa as well?
Oh yes, Africa is actually the first place where the natural production of natural hydrogen has been put in place. In Mali, there is a one well which is given 98% pure hydrogen, and it's since 2012, I think, and it's almost pure hydrogen, and it's used to provide electricity for a local village.
What about the rest of the continent?
I know that the exploration programs are in place right now, so in very soon, maybe this year, we will hear about other big discoveries. So it's already in place.
Okay, we're just coming to the end of January 2020. Got a whole year stretched out before us, a whole new decade. From where you sit, how do you see this sector moving over, say, the next 12 months, 11 months, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Ideally, and then realistically.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like most of entrepreneurs, I'm too optimistic, but I think that this year we should see more demonstration projects showing that, yeah, it's possible to get the resources. And next 5 years, it will be maybe hundreds of examples around the world. And next 10 years, I think we will start to feel the impact of natural hydrogen on the global energy scale.
And another kind of double-headed question, what are the key enablers to that change, transformation that you're forecasting? And what are the checks? What's slowing things down?
Just give me one small second to think. Let me start with problems, because it's the easiest, because we face it often. And the problem is people are yet not fully aware about the potential of natural hydrogen. That's the reason we are here today and to tell about this. And the thing which makes it easier that this new energy source fits a lot of gaps necessary for the fast and efficient replacement of polluting fuels, because it's like I already said, it's carbon not related with carbon emissions. It's a sustainable resource, and it can be explored using the existing infrastructure.
That's the problem you mentioned. Now, what are the enablers?
It was the enablers, and the problem is that it's still very not enough known for general public and for companies that should really start digging into this topic.
So we have an audience here, many young people, or people all generations are here, but the young are the ones who really are charged with trying to, push the older generation to do the right thing. What are you doing to engage with the change makers, the youth, to make this more widely known? I mean, you say it's not widely known, but what's someone like you doing about it?
Me personally, I've been working for past 7 years on combining all the known information about natural hydrogen in a large study. And this large study should appear next month online in a peer-reviewed journal. And I hope it will boost the development, because it will be like a encyclopedia, for people who never heard about this, and so they can go and know quickly about this topic, what's going on and what should be done in order to develop it faster.
I'm smiling because my background is very much media, strategic communications and so forth. When you say encyclopedia and then you say easy for people to understand, the two don't go together. So let me help you out here a bit.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, what are some of the key findings? What, the elevator speech, key takeaways from that report or that journal, peer-reviewed journal article that you'd want people here to know, that they can leave their own thinking, have implanted in their mind, this is what hydrogen can do, this is what we need to do to scale up hydrogen.
The takeaway message that natural hydrogen and inexhaustible and non-polluting energy, it does exist. So let's work together to explore it.
Okay, so it does exist, work together to explore it. How has the wider energy industry, those who are not yet looking at hydrogen, reacted to you and your peers in your sector?
Actually, it's very positive. I'm surprised that we receive a lot of support from different industries, different fields, because hydrogen is very versatile element. It can be used in not only as energy, it can be used for production of fertilizer. It is used right now, but using green hydrogen, it's a way to decarbonize the production. It can be used for production of food, for instance. With hydrogen, it's possible to produce high-quality protein using hydrogen bacteria. Or it can be used to capture CO2 from air and convert it into some product like methane, synthetic methane, or methanol. We've been just discussing this during this unexpected break session. Yes. So yeah, the hydrogen is very versatile, and having hydrogen cheap, which is available and competitive, this really changes the game.
And what exactly is it going to take to drive the cost down, to enable it to become cheap and competitive?
The exploration programs are necessary right now. There is not enough. There is no exploration strategy in place for natural hydrogen. We know it's there, but everyone tries in their own way to get it. But if you ask me what is the most efficient way to get it, I will say I don't know. We need to make tests. We need to try.
And what role are the politicians, the global politicians, the international organizations, what role are they playing in this in terms of trying to make the case for hydrogen and ensuring that the cost of hydrogen comes down, and maybe, I don't know, subsidies to exploration? What exactly is going on from that side?
Talking specifically about natural hydrogen,
yeah.
It's still an issue in many countries because it's not in the list of natural resources. If it's not in the list, you cannot get a license to explore it. So how you should do this? And in order to change the legislation, it's necessary to demonstrate the politicians that, yeah, it's really something which worth the work, that the legislation should be adopted. And there is a debate about how should we change the legislation. Because if we just add a line into existing legislation for oil and gas, it's not correct, because we're dealing with completely different source of energy. It's closer to geothermal probably, because we're dealing with this flow of energy. And yeah, in such case, it should be added to renewables. But in order to do that, they want some cases demonstration, or to show the look, and this really works. And so this is our project right now. We want to demonstrate that it's feasible.
Are there any countries that are close to making this change, to identifying hydrogen as a natural resource in their natural legislation?
France, for instance. In last year, there was a very big conference organized by the CNRS here in Paris.
By who, sorry?
CNRS, Centre National de Recherche Scientifique, Natural Center for Scientific Research. It's the largest scientific organization in France, and there was a conference fully devoted to natural hydrogen, and the legislation topic was one of the themes discussed during this event.
Personally, what's your wish for changing the sector now? I mean, the conference has changed now. You've talked a lot about what you're doing, your company, the sector, but I'm wondering personally, what's driving you? What's your hope for this?
I work for this because I really believe it's a viable solution to get clean energy and quickly. And as I mentioned, I worked for this for 9 years, and it's not quick enough. I wish that it goes faster, because we hear every day that we need the change, we need solutions which work, and we have problems with environment, with emissions, and there is a solution for that, but for me it's not going fast enough. So I wish it go faster.
I sense a little bit of frustration there. You wish it would go faster. Why isn't it going fast enough, and how could it go faster? Two questions, of course.
I think there is yet not enough knowledge about hydrogen for population. I mean, the information should be spread more widely, and again, we are here today to do this. And can you please repeat the second one?
Why
Yeah.
isn't it going fast enough? You've already answered that. I accept
Yeah,
that.
it's
But
related.
I'm wondering, in terms of now taking it to civil society, is there a case for maybe engaging those who are involved in the kind of stopping climate change, or that agenda, to get them involved with you more and make it something that's very, publicly talked about all the time? Is that what you're thinking of?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if
Getting
someone
rock stars involved with a hydrogen song by Bono or something?
Yeah, if someone from you or someone from present here in this room have ideas, we're very welcome. So please join us and help to spread the message.
If you have one last message for the audience, we only have a minute left. You've got one last message for those who've listened to you for the last few minutes here today. What would that message be?
Yeah, I will say that we need to remember we're in the same boat, and every solution is good to make our future bright and clean and sustainable, and so we can live in cities and don't breathe polluted air, and we can eat high quality food and available not only for developed countries, but the countries which are under development right now, because they are the main factors which are driving the consumption of energy and growth of this energy consumption. So yeah, by developing a viable solution, they should be viable for everyone.
Thank you. Viacheslav Zgonnik, is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
You've inspired me. I hope you've inspired the audience here today. Keep doing what you're doing. Let's scale it up. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much.